Hi guys. So moving from your home country into another country is very tough and difficult because we are often, preoccupied with the thought of cost of living in that particular country or county or town or village, wherever we want to move to. And we are not too sure about that decision, considering rent, cost of living basically. Okay. So in today's video, I'm going to help us all. We are going to check the best website that can help us assess the cost of living in the country or in the county or in the state or wherever at all in the world. Okay. Welcome to my channel. My name is Momo. I hope that you remember to subscribe to this channel and also remember to like and also share this video. Stay tuned. Okay, guys. So we just have to go to www dot. Sorry. Then we'll just put in Numbeo.com. So you can see comparison .com, so whatever you want. So I just go to comparison. It's basically the same thing. Okay, so cost of living, and that's how the interface looks like. So you are given an option over here at the slot. Select a city, so you can select any city at all around the world to actually compare. If you want to compare countries, it's also there, you can equally compare. So in this case, I'm just going to use Ireland as an example. Okay, when you come on this side, there are a few things you can actually compare. Okay, so we have when you come to the section for cost of living, they have cost of living comparison, cost of living calculator, cost of living index, cost of living index. We have current and then that as well. Cost of living index by country, cost of living estimator. Let me try to pull this down so we can see properly. And then we have a basket of goods and services, taxi fare calculator, and a whole lot. Okay, so when you go to property prices, they also have property prices comparison, property price index, that's the current one. And then you also have quality of life. So it's not just goods and services, you can also compare quality of life and all of that, crime rate, healthcare, so everything. Okay, and I think it's a very good, very good website. Seriously, guys, at least if it's not going to give you the accurate prices or rates, at least it gives you a fair idea. Okay, so you can actually compare countries as well. You can also compare countries as well. Any countries, city, towns, even in Africa and Asia, wherever you want to. It's for the whole world. It's actually for the whole world. You can see your city is not here. Tell us about the cost of living in your city. Okay, if your city is not here, just tell them. Okay, so let's look at comparing two countries. Let's look at countries, then we can move to comparing cities. Let's say a county in Ireland, because I'm in Ireland, so we're just going to compare counties in Ireland. Okay, then just for other subscribers that are not are not in Ireland, just for you to also use it to check the cost of living in other places that you live in, which I think it's equally very good. Let's compare Ireland with, let's say, Canada. Let's just check Canada. Okay, so let's just compare Ireland and Canada and see, just to give you guys a fair idea. Okay, so I'm not signing up. So that is how it works. So it's not just about comparing cities, but even country as a whole, which I think is very good. Okay, so it says consumer prices in Canada are 2.0 higher than in Ireland without rent, and then consumer prices including rent in Canada are 7.9% lower than in Ireland, and then rent prices in Canada are 3.2% lower than in Ireland. Restaurant prices in Canada are 4.8 lower than in Ireland, and then grocery prices in Canada are 18.6 higher than in Ireland. Local purchasing power in Canada is 0.1% higher than in Ireland. Okay, so guys, that's it. Let's just look at some of the things here. So when it comes to meal inexpensive restaurants, you can see the prices. I think it's just like a range. Okay, just to give you an idea. Okay, so you can see that Canada, it's a bit expensive. So there are some things that are expensive in Ireland, some are also expensive in Canada. Okay, let's look at coffee, like cappuccino. So it's 5.14. Okay, that's 3.53. So it gives you the amount in euro and also the price in Canadian dollar. So at least you have an idea what they're actually talking about. Okay, so cappuccino is, I think, is expensive in Ireland than in Canada. Okay, and then water is also expensive in Ireland than in Canada. Let's see, beer. So imported beer is 5.50 in Ireland, still expensive than in Canada. Domestic beer is still expensive than in Canada. So I think this website, guys, you will love it. It's so good. And then milk is expensive in Canada. I think, yeah, with what we read, I think groceries were more expensive in Canada, which is fair. And then a loaf of fresh white bread is 1.81 in Ireland, and then in Canada it's 2.42. Wow. So let's look at, so you have all of this: eggs, local cheese, chicken fillets, apples, oranges, like everything in here. Okay. And also let's look at transport. You can see transport here. One way ticket, local transport is €2 in Ireland, and then in Canada is 2.34. Okay. Okay. So buying a car, let's say Toyota Corolla sedan, is 31,147 in Ireland, and then in Canada, oh wow, that's a huge difference. So Canada is actually very good when in terms of buying a car. Wow, you can also see for the Volkswagen. Wow, wow, that is so good. Okay, now let's look at utility. With utility, basic heating, electricity, cooling, water, garbage. In Ireland is 206, and then in Canada 1.8. So I think cost of living in Canada is not bad at all. Yeah. And then we have sports and leisure, still expensive in Ireland, as we can all see, compared to Canada. Okay. And then when it comes to school, yeah, it's still expensive in Ireland than in Canada. Then let's see, clothing, Ireland, yeah, still expensive. There's a few things expensive in Canada, but generally more expensive in Ireland. Yeah, so let's look at rent. So rent in Ireland is like 1720 for a one bedroom apartment, and then in Canada 1338. So that is it for those in Europe. And then when it comes to Canadian dollars, you can see the difference. So rent in Canada is actually very good, very good. So renting in the city center, a 3 bedroom in Ireland is like 2,875, which I think is averagely, because it might even be more. And then in Canada is 2,133, and then we have the amount also in Canadian dollars as well. So yeah, buying an apartment, we can all see. So I think generally, I think it's less expensive, like in terms of cost of living in Canada than in Ireland. Let's look at salaries and financing. Average monthly net salary after tax in Ireland is like 2,904. Yeah, and then in Canada is 2,677. So yeah, okay, so salary is a bit okay in Ireland and in Canada. So this is just like an average, okay, guys, which I think is fair. And then mortgage interest rate in percentage, yearly. Okay, so it's more in Canada. Okay, so it says here we can all see last update was January 2024, just for you to know that they keep on taking data from people. Okay, and then contributors in the past 12 months are 768. That's people that have actually contributed from Ireland. And then in Canada 3,795. So their data might not be accurate, but like seriously they are doing so well because they have a lot of people actually helping as well. So please, guys, when you go on this website, you can also try and also put in your giving your input as well. So if you want to compare quality of life, crime rates, healthcare in Ireland, pollution, property prices in Ireland, and all that, you can do the same for Canada. Wherever you are watching me from, you can actually make use of this as well. Now let's look at that for, let's say, counties in Ireland, just to give us a fair idea. I'm just going to compare, let's say, Dublin. So you can see Dublin here, Dublin, Ireland. Okay, so that's what I just selected. So Dublin, Ireland, and then it gives you the option here there, compare Dublin with what county. Okay, So if you're in Australia, you can just put in any city in Australia. If you're in America, you can put in any city to know the cost of living before you actually travel. Okay, let me put in here, let's say Cork. So I have Cork, Ireland, and then it loads around 6,704 euros in Dublin to maintain the same standard of living that you can have with 5,200 euros in Cork. Okay, assuming you rent in both cities. This calculation uses our cost of living plus rent index to compare the cost of living and assume net earning. Okay, consumer prices in Dublin are higher, let's say 7.7% higher than Cork without rent, and then consumer prices including rent in Dublin are 16.8. So you have all of that. I'm not going to read through. You just have to scroll down. That's what I actually like about this. It gives you comparison when it comes to restaurants, when it comes to markets. Okay, so like everything, even oranges, tomatoes, potato, like everything. Then you also have transportation. Okay, you have utility, sports and leisure, childcare, clothing and shoes, rent per month, buying apartment price, salaries, financing, and all of that. We can see when it comes to restaurants, we have with a meal, okay, inexpensive restaurant, Cork is like 15 euro, and then Dublin is like 20, which I know is true, okay. And then meal for two people, like mid-range restaurant or three course, it's saying like 85 euro, and then Dublin is going to be like a 90 euro, okay. And then we have McDonald's, Mac meals at McDonald's, equivalent to combo meals, like 9 euro in Cork and then 10 euro in Dublin. Okay, you also have domestic beer. Okay, that's like 6 euro in Cork and then 6.50 in Dublin. For my coffee lovers, for cappuccino, we have 3.61 euros in Cork and then 2.39 in Dublin. So like coffee is more expensive. Sorry, so 3.61 in Cork and then 3.84. Oh, I was about to say something I'm not supposed to say. So it's actually still expensive in Dublin. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and the Coke and Pepsi still expensive in Dublin. Water is still expensive in Dublin. So it gives you the breakdown of basically everything. Okay, so when it comes to milk, I think the first one is Coke. Yeah, so milk in Coke 1 liter is 1.33. Then Dublin is 1.32. So Coke is more expensive when it comes to milk. Yeah, and then loaf of fresh white bread 500 gram, we have 1.79 in Cork and then 1.95 in Dublin. Yeah, we also have rice, which is less expensive in Dublin because it's 1.78 in Cork and then 1.6 in Dublin. Yeah, and then we have eggs regular, that's like a 12 crate of 12 is 3.85 in Cork and then 3.96 in Dublin. So we have cheese, chicken fillet. But mostly we can see that it's more expensive. Just a few things expensive in Cork, but mostly the things in Dublin are expensive. Okay, yeah. So let's see. I can see something minus 20, which is a bottle of wine. Oh, a bottle of wine is very expensive in Cork because it's 15 euros, and then in Dublin it's just 12 euros. Wow. Okay, let's see, let me just go down and then let's see. So that's it for the market prices. So you even have tomatoes, potatoes, lettuce, like everything. Okay, everything. So let's look at the transportation. Let's look at the transportation. So with the transportation, we have one way ticket, that's local transport. Cork is 2.10 and then Dublin is 2 euros. Okay, the monthly pass regular price is 87.25 and then in Dublin it's 120. Taxi start normal tariff is like 5 euro in Cork and then 4.20. Wow. Okay, and then taxi 1 kilometer normal tariff is like 1.90 in Cork and then 2 euro in Dublin. Yeah, and then gasoline, all of that. Toyota, Corolla, sedan, Comfort. Then we also have Volkswagen, Golf. Wow. So let's see, for a new car, we have 30,000 euros, and then in Dublin it's 33. So even buying a car also depends on the county that you are in, which I think it's fair. It's for every country, county, sorry, even also in every country as well. And then we have utilities monthly, like basic electricity, heating, cooling, water, garbage. For like an apartment, okay, it's like a 198.39 in Cork, and then in Dublin it's 270, so it's really expensive. And then we have mobile phone monthly plan for calls, and then 10 gigabytes plus data. It's like 20.67 in Cork, and then in Dublin it's like 22.35. Okay, we have internet. Okay, so that's it. Dublin is still expensive. So let's look at sports and leisure. Let's look at that. So fitness club monthly fee for 1 hour dot, tennis court rent, cinema international release one seat. Let's see, for the fitness club it's like a 56.62 in Cork, and then in Dublin it's like 46.18. Okay, and then tennis court rent is 25.44. Dublin is 20. Yeah, so that's cool. Let's look at childcare. I know childcare, it's actually very important for married couples. Okay, so we have preschool or kindergarten full day private monthly for a child in Cork is like 1,000, over little over 1,000 euros, and then Dublin is over 1,200 euros, which is fair. And then international primary school yearly for one child is like 6,400 in Cork, and then 10,000 and a little over 10,000 in Dublin. That is way too much. That is way too much. So that is how it actually works. Then clothing and shoes, that's interesting. So a pair of jeans, okay, in Cork is like 86.59, and then in Dublin is like 87. Okay, so you have all these prices, okay, guys. That's how it is. And then we have rent per month. Let's look at the rent per month. Okay, so apartment, one bedroom in a city center in Cork is 1,500 and a little bit of coins. Okay, and then in Dublin is 2,000. Oh, it's so expensive. Okay, and then we have apartment, one bedroom outside of the city center is like 1,271 for Cork, and then 1,717. So this should give you a clear idea on where you actually want to stay. If you want to be in Cork, it's actually very expensive as well, especially the city, living around the city. If it's outside the city, it's perfect. So definitely Cork will be an option over Dublin, because mostly everywhere around Dublin is still expensive. But Cork, I know people that rent like a 3 bedroom for like 1,000 euros outside the city. Okay, so Cork is still an option. So looking at apartment, which is actually the major factor to actually consider when moving to a country or a county or a town, wherever, is actually apartment cost of living. We are always looking at how much is rent, how much is transport, so this actually gives you a very good idea. After this, I'm just going to do one example, comparing, let's say, a city to one of the towns at the northern side, or let's say the Midlands, just to give you guys an idea. Okay, so I think it's just fair for me to compare the two places I've actually lived in Ireland. I've lived in Dublin for over 1 year, and then now I'm in Drogheda, and then I've been in Drogheda for like barely 4 months. So it is, as you can also see, it says you will need around over 5,000 euros in Drogheda to maintain the same standard of living that you can have with 6,100 euros in Dublin, assuming you rent in both cities. Okay, it says consumer prices in Drogheda are 6.5% lower than in Dublin without rent. Okay, and then consumer prices including rent in Drogheda are 17.2% lower than in Dublin. Rent prices in Drogheda are 32.5 lower than in Dublin. Restaurant prices in Drogheda are 17.8% lower than in Dublin. Groceries prices in Drogheda are 6.2 lower than in Dublin. And then local purchasing power in Drogheda is 11.5% lower than in Dublin, guys. That comes to meals, we can see all of that. You can just see the difference. Okay, Dublin is definitely more. So you can see that the one that they are not really sure of, that the international primary school, they put in the question mark. As you can all see this, it says improve our data quality. So they actually request of you to give them your own experience, buying stuff and all that. It says that, so do you live in Dublin? Tell us some price in Dublin. If you live in Drogheda, you can equally tell them some prices. So that's why I actually love Numbeo. So that is it. So how it works. I hope that this has been very helpful, guys. So guys, this is the end of today's video. I hope that this video is actually going to help you a lot regarding your decision on moving to a particular country. Okay, so to all my returning subscribers, thank you guys so much for holding up this YouTube channel. If today is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel, remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I welcome you to the family. Just remember to go to my channel, click at the playlist, and check all the videos I've actually done in relation to Ireland, nursing in Ireland, nursing in other countries, travel, and many other videos on my channel. See you all soon on my next video. Bye.